Part 16. God Level Tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tien Tien Taido. Chapter 151. Boss Long, evacuate the workers in the mine, stop the work for a while, and go to the flat ground. At this moment, a voice rang in Long Sheng's ears. This voice was actually Li Hao's voice. Long Sheng's face was shocked again. Wasn't this guy in the mine several hundred meters below? He could speak directly to him. And it was as if he was speaking to him in his ear. Fei-er, did you hear it? Long Sheng couldn't help but look at Long Fei-er and ask Long Fei-er. But Long Fei-er looked confused and looked at her father in confusion. What did you hear? What did you say? Long Sheng was stunned. Nothing. Long Sheng was even more shocked. Voice transmission. This is the legendary voice transmission. As expected of a cultivator, this method is really awesome. Long Sheng was shocked. The next moment, Long Sheng took out his cell phone and called the relevant persons in charge of the mines under his command, asking them to arrange for the miners under the mines to evacuate from underground. Since Li Hao said so, he had his intentions. The sound just now was a reminder. After Long Sheng's order was issued, the people below quickly moved. One after another, the miners began to evacuate from the mines. Although they didn't know what happened and why they had to evacuate, they naturally had to obey the leader's arrangement unconditionally, and these miners had no complaints at all, because today's salary was paid as usual. More than 20 minutes later, all the workers under the mines were evacuated. All the miners returned to the ground. In all the mines, only Li Hao was left. At this moment, Li Hao also sensed the situation outside. Li Hao, who broke through to the Jindan realm, even became more perceptive, and even underwent some subtle changes, but Li Hao couldn't tell the details. Perception can also be said to be the power of the soul. The soul has undergone some changes, which is a very mysterious feeling. The reason why Li Hao evacuated these people was that he felt that he had miscalculated just now. Just now, his cultivation breakthrough almost caused a landslide. It would be bad if these miners were buried alive, and he would have to work hard to rescue them. Now, these miners have evacuated, but Li Hao has started to think about the spiritual vein below. At present, his cultivation has broken through, and the spiritual power consumption here can be almost ignored. And for a while, his cultivation will not have any breakthroughs. The higher the cultivation, the greater the perception between each realm, and the spiritual power required is very different. It would be great if I could take this spiritual vein away. This thought suddenly came to Li Hao's mind. However, Li Hao was a little puzzled soon. This spiritual vein is so big, how can I take it away? The next moment, Li Hao's mind was bright, and he thought of a possibility. Li Hao thought of something. System world. Didn't the system open a system world before? That's an independent space. If our own people can go in, can we also bring this spiritual vein in? It's possible. Since he thought of it, Li Hao did it directly. Suddenly, Li Hao moved, activated his cultivation power, protected his body, and then activated a powerful offensive force to blast towards the gap. Bang bang bang. The whole mine was shaking, and the roar kept ringing, causing the miners outside to be surprised. What sound? It sounded like the sound of cannons. Is there anyone firing cannons under the mine? Under the mine. With Li Hao's several bombardments, the gap in front was blasted open by Li Hao. The next moment, Li Hao was shocked again when he looked at the scene in front of him. Because, in front of Li Hao, an underground space appeared. It was full of white jade-like spiritual stones. There were spiritual stones everywhere. These spiritual stones were connected together, and there was a slow spiritual liquid flowing in them, making these spiritual stones look alive, as if they had incomparable vitality. Li Hao's breathing became a little rapid. This is clearly a spiritual vein. I don't know how long the underground spiritual vein has existed here. I'm afraid it has been here for hundreds or even thousands of years. Spiritual veins are good things that can continuously generate spiritual power. Li Hao started to move directly, and used his cultivation power to mine these spiritual stones. Li Hao, who has broken through to the Jindan realm, has no difficulty in mining. Soon, some spiritual stones were mined by Li Hao. Then, Li Hao called up the system interface in his mind and pressed the button on the interface to open the system small world. The system small world was immediately opened by Li Hao. Li Hao took the spiritual stone and moved his mind. Suddenly, Li Hao's figure disappeared. He reappeared in the system small world. Moreover, the spiritual stone in Li Hao's hand was also brought in. Yes. Li Hao was delighted when he saw this scene, and he couldn't help being excited. If spiritual stones are okay, then other things can naturally be okay, and spiritual veins can definitely be okay. Without saying anything, Li Hao's mind moved again and he left the system small world again. Li Hao first mined these spiritual stones one by one, and then threw them directly into the system small world. One piece after another, more and more, a total of hundreds of pieces were collected, and they were all very large. After doing this, Li Hao activated the power of the Jindan realm, and then directly activated the spiritual power in the entire space. Boom! At this moment, a strong momentum appeared on Li Hao's body, and Li Hao pointed at the spiritual vein in front of him. Buzz buzz buzz. Suddenly, this spiritual vein buried underground was directly activated by a majestic force, as if it was about to break away from under the land. The whole earth was shaking constantly, the mountains were shaking, and even several mines began to collapse. On the ground, the miners in the mine were shocked when they saw this scene. Earthquake. Is this another earthquake? Oh my God, it's a good thing we evacuated in time, otherwise, I'm afraid I would die today. What happened? The miners exclaimed one after another. Seeing this scene, Long Sheng and Long Fei were also shocked. Is this what Li Hao did? Long Sheng's face condensed, and he said weakly. It should be. He was not sure, but it was most likely Li Hao's masterpiece. What is he doing? Long Fei widened her eyes and said in confusion. I don't know. Long Sheng said in a deep voice, but he had some guesses in his mind. Under the mine. Under Li Hao's powerful cultivation power, this spiritual vein was finally stripped out of this land by Li Hao. The next moment, Li Hao's mind moved again. Swoosh. Instantly, this huge spiritual vein disappeared and was moved into the system small world by Li Hao. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 152. Under Li Hao's powerful cultivation power, this underground spiritual vein was directly moved into the small world of the system by Li Hao. When Li Hao buried this spiritual vein into the earth of the system space, a stream of spiritual energy involuntarily emerged from the ground and then spread into the heaven and earth. There seems to be a little more life in this small world. At least it no longer had the chaotic, desolate feeling before. Li Hao left the system small world with satisfaction. Looking at the empty underground space, Li Hao also felt a little embarrassed. The spiritual veins and spiritual stones had all been emptied by himself. The next moment, Li Hao walked directly out of the mine and appeared in front of the dragon god and his daughter. Li Hao. When Li Hao appeared, Long Fei immediately shouted to Li Hao, with a hint of joy in her voice. How about it? There is a spirit stone mine down there, right? Do you want to arrange for someone to collect it for you? Then arrange a vehicle to send it back to you. Long Sheng asked Li Hao again. When Li Hao heard Long Sheng's words, he couldn't help but smile and said lightly. No. Huh? No need. Long Sheng looked at Li Hao with some confusion. I've already collected it. Li Hao said with a smile again. Hearing Li Hao's words, Long Sheng was shocked again. Already collected? How is this possible? Where did Li Hao collect it? How did Li Hao collect such a large spiritual stone? And no one can take it? Li Hao didn't explain too much, and Long Sheng didn't ask too many questions, but he still had some doubts in his heart. Thank you very much, Mr. Long. I owe you a favor this time. If you need my help in any way, just let me know. I can't guarantee anything else. I can only say that now the entire country of Great China can win the battle. Mine, there shouldn't be two. Li Hao said to Long Sheng again, his voice filled with strong self-confidence. This was the confidence that strong strength gave Li Hao. Mr. Li, what are you talking about? This Lingxi mine is for you to make the right choice. We are all a family. You are too polite. Don't call me Mr. Long. I am the elder of the two. Lun, if you don't mind, just call me uncle. Long Sheng was overjoyed when he heard Li Hao's words. With Li Hao's words, he felt more and more that this was a wise decision, and immediately said with a smile, he wanted to get closer to Li Hao. Well, Uncle Long. I'm leaving then. I'll ask you, Uncle Long, to take care of this mine problem. Li Hao nodded and did not refuse. He said to Long Sheng that many mines had collapsed, and Li Hao felt a little sorry. Immediately, he was ready to leave. The purpose of coming here had been achieved. It's a small matter, I've arranged for someone to take care of it. Long Sheng added that it was just a collapse of the mine, as long as no one was injured. As a result, the three of them prepared to leave. However, when several people were sitting in the car and passing by the houses where the miners lived, Li Hao had a strange look in his eyes. There is light. Yellow light flashed past. Li Hao turned his head and saw that on one side, in front of the houses, there were many figures. They were miners from the mine chatting and bragging at the door. Moreover, there were many women and even children playing innocently on the side. However, Li Hao's eyes fell on a middle-aged uncle in his 40s or 50s. Because, on the head of this middle-aged uncle, there is actually a yellow question mark. Only Li Hao can see this question mark, but others cannot. The moment he saw this question mark, Li Hao's whole life was filled with a strange color. This is a tip. And it's actually still a mission. Li Hao didn't expect to encounter system prompts here. This question mark is on this miner. What task is this? Stop. Li Hao immediately said to the driver. Then, Long Sheng's exclusive driver suddenly listened. Long Sheng and Long Fei couldn't help but look at Li Hao with doubts in their eyes. When the two saw Li Hao get out of the car, Li Hao was staring at where the miners were. The two of them couldn't help but follow Li Hao's line of sight, but they didn't see anything. The miners also noticed the car Long Sheng and the others were riding in, and some even recognized the car directly and couldn't help but make a sound of shock. This is Boss Long's car. Why is Boss Long here? I'm telling you, why did all the work stop today? It seems that Boss Long knew that the mine would collapse. The girl sitting next to Boss Long above is Boss Long's only daughter, the little princess of our mining factory. A veritable rich second generation, and she is very beautiful. Who can marry Miss Long? If you get there, you will be very successful. Huh? Why did a young man come down? Hey. Is he Miss Long's boyfriend? Ahem. Not to mention, this guy is quite handsome. He looks like a human and a dog. It turns out that Miss Long already has a wife? Damn it, I still want my son to chase her. Alas, it seems there is no chance. Your son? Haha, what are you thinking about? When Li Hao heard the words of these miners, a black line appeared on his forehead. How could he praise others? They thought that they were too far away from Li Hao to hear them, but in fact, every word they said fell into Li Hao's ears clearly. Of course, Li Hao didn't care about anything, but looked straight at the miner with a question mark on his head. Even at a distance, Li Hao could clearly see the appearance of the miner. This was a man who looked to be in his 50s. He was very thin, hunched over, and looked very weak. His face was dull, his eyelids drooped, and his complexion looked very bad. Sick. Li Hao, who had divine medical skills, could tell at a glance that the miner must be sick, and it was not a minor illness. Cough cough. Cough cough cough. Just as Li Hao was looking at the miner was coughing. Cough 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 cough. And it was an inaudible cough. Zhang Laozi, you can't keep coughing like this. You should go get checked. Next to him, another miner said to the man. The man's name was Zhang Dazhuang, and he was the fourth child in the family, so everyone called him Zhang Laozi. Cough cough. It's okay. It's an old problem. Cough cough cough. Zhang Dazhuang said while coughing. He started coughing several years ago, and the medicine he took didn't work very well, so he didn't care too much. He also knew what the problem was. Many miners like him had more or less the same problem. He thought, coughing is a habit, and it's not a problem after all these years. And it costs money to go for a checkup. He has 2 girls to support at home. The older one is already in high school in the county town, and the younger one is only 10 years old and in elementary school. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 153. Miner Zhang Dazhuang thought that saving a little money was a bit, and earning a little more was a bit. So, even though he had been coughing for several years, he had never done a comprehensive checkup. When he couldn't bear it anymore, he would go to the nearby medical station to get some medicine. Although the doctor had suggested that he go to a large hospital for a checkup countless times, and that there must be something wrong with his lungs, he still didn't listen. He knew that there must be something wrong with his lungs. When he was blasting the cave to mine, he was lighting fires inside. Every time there was an explosion, the whole cave was filled with smoke, so he naturally ate a lot of smoke. This is also a problem that many miners have. But in order to make money, he didn't care about much. Today, there was no mining, and all the staff stopped working. Zhang Dazhuang had time to chat and brag at the door. His wife was cooking in the house, and his little daughter was playing with other children in the mine next to him. Cough 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 cough. He sat on a wooden stake, didn't say a few words, and kept coughing again. Hoo-hoo. Moreover, even his breathing became a little rapid, as if there was not enough air, as if something was blocking his lungs, as if he was suffocating. Zhang Dazhuang felt that he couldn't breathe. Zhang Dazhuang's appearance naturally caught Li Hao's eyes. Li Hao didn't hesitate and directly clicked on the question mark above Zhang Dazhuang's head, wanting to see what this task was. The next moment, Zhang Dazhuang, male, 53 years old, kind-hearted, happy family, seriously ill, late-stage lung cancer, about to die now issuing a task, save Zhang Dazhuang's life and save a happy family will receive extraordinary rewards. What are you waiting for, host? Hurry up and claim the task, click to confirm to claim it. The system's prompt sounded in Li Hao's mind, and a confirmation button popped up on the system interface in Li Hao's mind. When Li Hao heard the system's prompt, he was shocked again. Sure enough, this miner was seriously ill. It was lung cancer. And it was already in the late stage. Without waiting for Li Hao to claim the task. Cough, 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 cough. In front, Zhang Dazhuang kept coughing, and the cough became more and more violent, and the whole person was gasping for breath. The next moment, Puff. Zhang Dazhuang actually spit out a mouthful of blood, his face turned pale in an instant, and the whole person fell down. Ah! Zhang Laosi. Zhang Laosi, what's wrong with you? Are you okay? Quick, go and call Zhang Laosi's wife. The miners next to him saw this scene, and their faces suddenly changed. They shouted and came to Zhang Dazhuang's side. Not far away, a little girl in her teens, although wearing simple clothes, looked cute, with 2 pigtails, was playing with other children. Suddenly, she heard the voice here. It was Zhang Dazhuang's little daughter, named Zhang Ruohan. Zhang Laosi? Isn't that his father? What happened to his father? The next moment, she saw her father fall down. Ah, Dad! The little girl screamed, knowing that something happened to her father, and immediately ran to her father Zhang Dazhuang's position. Dad, what's wrong with you? Dad, Dad. Dad, don't leave Han Han. Dad. Woo woo. The little girl lay beside her father, shouting non-stop, tears already flowing. Soon, in the back room, a middle-aged woman in her 40s, slightly fat, ran out in panic wearing an apron. It was Zhang Dazhuang's wife and the mother of the little girl. Dazhuang, what's wrong with you? Wake up. Don't scare me. Ambulance, call an ambulance. The middle-aged woman was also pale, and was frightened by the scene, and kept shouting. It's so deep in the mountains, how can we call for an ambulance? Let's find a car and send him to the hospital. Yes. How long will it take for the ambulance to come? Send him to the hospital. Many people said beside him. Just then, Long Sheng and Long Fei followed Li Hao down. As the boss of these miners, Long Sheng planned to come down and say hello to the employees, but when they saw this scene, their faces changed instantly. What's going on? What's going on? Long Sheng hurriedly ran forward. Li Hao's eyes widened at this moment. The system prompt just came out, and this guy actually fell down. Is it so punctual? Li Hao quickly clicked the confirm button on the system interface. Ding dong, congratulations to the host, the task was successfully received. The system prompt sounded immediately, and Li Hao successfully received the task. At the same time, the money in Li Hao's bank card was directly deducted by the system for 20,000 yuan. Front. Long Sheng and Long Fei also came to the crowd. Boss Long. Boss Long. Miss Long. When the miners saw the two coming, they immediately shouted to them respectfully. Boss Long, you must save Dezhuang. Please. At this time, Zhang Dezhuang's wife said to Long Sheng with tears in her eyes. Don't worry. When Long Sheng heard the woman's words, his expression was shocked again and he said in a deep voice. Then he said to the other miners next to him. Hurry, help me, and carry him to my car. Yes. The miners around nodded immediately, and immediately lifted the unconscious Zhang Dazhuang and were about to get on the car. But at this time, no need to be so troublesome. Let me take a look at him. A voice came from the front, and the voice seemed to be filled with a strong confidence. Everyone looked over immediately, and a flash of surprise flashed in their eyes. This guy is so arrogant. Let me show you. Is it okay? Are you a doctor? This is a matter of life and death. Don't joke. At this time, Long Sheng also looked at Li Hao in astonishment, slapped his head and said. Oh, how could I forget this? Li Hao, you are here, why go to the hospital? If you can't save him, I'm afraid no one in the world can save him. Long Sheng has an inexplicable trust in Li Hao. Li Hao is a genuine cultivator. If even Li Hao can't do it, no one can. Put him down quickly. Long Sheng immediately said to these people, and these people immediately put Zhang Dazhuang down again. Big brother, are you a doctor? Can you save my dad? At this time, the little girl came to Li Hao's side again, staring at Li Hao with her eyes wide open. Don't worry. I will definitely save your dad. Li Hao saw the little girl's appearance and said seriously. The next moment, Li Hao squatted down, stretched out his hand and put it on Zhang Dazhuang's arm, and began to treat and save people. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 154. Li Hao squatted beside Zhang Dazhuang, and then put his hand on Zhang Dazhuang's arm to sense the situation in Zhang Dazhuang's body. The next moment, Zhang Dazhuang's meridians, flesh, bones, and even various organs were all clearly perceived by Li Hao. When Li Hao observed Zhang Dazhuang's lungs, his eyes suddenly condensed again. Zhang Dazhuang's lungs were basically about to stop functioning. They were already a little aging, and after smoking so much, his lungs had turned black and could not absorb air. The most important thing was that the cancer had reached the terminal stage. How is it? Beside him, Long Sheng couldn't help asking Li Hao, and Zhang Dazhuang's wife, daughter, and others also looked at Li Hao with hope. Late-stage lung cancer. Li Hao said directly. As Li Hao's voice came out, Zhang Dazhuang's wife's face turned pale instantly, as if she had been hit hard. She felt dizzy and unstable, and almost fell down. Fortunately, she was supported by the quick eyes and hands of the people next to her. Sister-in-law, are you okay? Lung cancer in the advanced stage. The woman's face turned pale, and she felt like the sky was about to fall. Cancer. It's in the advanced stage. This is going to kill her. Is her husband going to die? Her husband is only in his 50s, and she is only 48, and there are 2 girls at home. What should this family do? When the people around heard Li Hao's words, their faces also changed. When they looked at the woman and the girl, there was a touch of sympathy in their eyes. Ah, advanced lung cancer? Really? Zhang Laoci is only 50 years old. Alas, I told him 2 years ago to go to the hospital for a good checkup. Now it's all right, right? It's actually advanced lung cancer. Can it be cured? It's difficult. Sighs came from the miners around. This is advanced lung cancer, and there is no medicine to cure it? And in their hearts, they were even more grateful that they were not the ones who got lung cancer. Long Sheng and Long Fei were also shocked when they heard what Li Hao said. They didn't expect that it was such a serious disease. It was a terminal illness. Is there a cure? Long Sheng asked Li Hao again. If even Li Hao couldn't help, then there was really no way. Long Fei beside him also had a glimmer of hope on his face. Big brother, please save my dad. Next to Li Hao, Zhang Dazhuang's daughter also looked at Li Hao pitifully and begged him. All around, everyone was staring at Li Hao. They didn't know why Boss Long valued this young man so much, but since this young man could conclude that Zhang Dazhuang had cancer, he must be a doctor. Li Hao looked at these people with a solemn look on their faces, but he laughed again. Ha ha. Of course there is a cure. Don't worry, he won't die with me here. Li Hao said with a smile, his voice full of strong confidence. When the people around heard what Li Hao said, they couldn't help but have a strange look on their faces again. This guy is so arrogant. The next moment, they saw that a jade needle appeared in the hand of the young man in front of them. Tianqian 9 needles. Lie him down and take off his upper body clothes. Li Hao said immediately, and the people around him were stunned again. Hurry up. Long Sheng saw everyone stunned and said immediately. So, several people around rushed up and directly stripped Zhang Dazhuang's upper body clothes. Li Hao looked at this scene, and a gleam of brilliance flashed in his eyes. The next moment, there was a strong momentum on Li Hao's body, and Li Hao directly activated the power of cultivation. For a moment, Everyone felt a throbbing breath. What's going on? Why do I feel so nervous? I can't breathe. It's him. Dot. A series of uproarious voices suddenly came out of the mouths of these miners. They all had a look of shock on their faces, but they were not warriors or cultivators, and they couldn't tell what was going on. They just felt that the young man in front of them seemed to give people a different feeling. Even Long Sheng was in a state of shock at this moment. He felt that Li Hao's cultivation seemed to have become more powerful. Li Hao didn't care too much. Then, Li Hao held the jade needle and injected a stream of energy directly into the jade needle, and then pierced Zhang Dazhuang's lungs. When the jade needle was pierced, the spiritual power also entered Zhang Dazhuang's body and lungs along the jade needle. The lungs, which had been aging and eroded by countless cancer cells, suddenly became full of vitality again, and those cancer cells seemed to feel a sense of crisis and spread rapidly, trying to escape. But how could Li Hao let it exist? Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Li Hao's hands moved very fast, and he took out one jade needle after another, and then accurately inserted them around Zhang Dazhuang's lungs. Each jade needle contained a trace of Li Hao's cultivation power and a touch of spiritual power, and instantly formed a spiritual power barrier around Zhang Dazhuang's lungs, trapping all the cancer cells. Li Hao's movements were smooth and dazzling. At a certain moment, Li Hao tapped Zhang Dazhuang's lungs again, but this tap contained a trace of Li Hao's cultivation power. Boom! This cultivation power directly burned all the cancer cells. Then, the spiritual power began to repair and treat Zhang Dazhuang's damaged lungs. Huh! Just a moment later, the unconscious Zhang Dazhuang actually opened his eyes. What happened to me? Zhang Dazhuang was still a little confused. Looking at the people around him, he seemed to have walked through the gates of hell, as if he had been through another world. And Zhang Dazhuang's face had already regained its color, and it was visible to the naked eye that he was a little younger than before, full of energy. Awake. Really awake. It's amazing. Energetic. Oh my, even a miracle doctor is no more than this. Dot. The people around looked at this scene, their eyes filled with shock that was difficult to conceal, and exclamations kept coming out of their mouths. Dazhuang, you finally woke up. Dazhuang, how do you feel? You scared me to death just now. Zhang Dazhuang's wife also came to his side and asked Zhang Dazhuang quickly, her eyes full of hope. Wife? I seem to be fine. I feel that my body has never been so comfortable, and I don't cough anymore. Zhang Dazhuang felt the condition of his body and said immediately. Ah. Really? That's great. You have lung cancer, I thought I was going to be a widow. Zhang Dazhuang's wife couldn't help but get excited when she heard what Zhang Dazhuang said. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 155. Everyone around heard Zhang Dazhuang's words, looked at Zhang Dazhuang's spirit and expression, and their eyes fell on Li Hao again. Long Sheng and Long Fei were also extremely shocked. In a moment, a terminal cancer patient was brought back from the brink of death. What kind of medical skill is this? Is this already cured? Long Fei's beautiful eyes also flashed with a flash of brilliance, and she murmured. Li Hao smiled lightly. The cancer is gone. But my body is still a little weak and I need to rest more. Li Hao said with a smile. Wow! He is really a miracle doctor. This is late-stage lung cancer. It's actually been cured, it's awesome. What a miracle doctor. He is so amazing. I'm sick too, can you take a look at me? I feel like there's something wrong with my lungs, can the miracle doctor take a look at it for me? I'm afraid I have cancer too, right? I still have some impotence and kidney deficiency. Can you give me a look too? A miracle doctor. Damn. I'm afraid you masturbated too much. Dot. The miners around them couldn't help but make excited sounds, and some even wanted Li Hao to help them take a look, because they felt they were uncomfortable here and there. Li Hao looked at this scene, but a smile appeared on his face. The next moment, a white jade-like stone appeared in Li Hao's hand. Long Sheng couldn't help being shocked when he saw the stone in Li Hao's hand. This is clearly a spiritual stone, the same as the one on Long Feier's neck, but much larger. What did Li Hao do with the spiritual stone? Just when Long Sheng was confused, he heard Li Hao say again. Is there a big bucket? Bring a bucket over here. Bucket. Why do you need a bucket? Many people are confused again. I do. But some miners still responded and quickly ran to his house. Within 2 minutes, a large bucket was brought over. Immediately afterwards, everyone saw that Li Hao directly placed the bucket under the water pipe and filled it with water. The next moment, Li Hao firmly grasped the spiritual stone in his hand. In an instant, everyone was shocked to see this huge white jade-like stone turn into powder in the hands of the young man in front of them. Then these powders were directly sprinkled into the water in the bucket by Li Hao. A bucket of simple version of the spirit liquid is ready. The spiritual power in the spiritual stone also melted into the bucket of water. After doing this, Li Hao said to Long Sheng again. Uncle Long, ask each miner to fill a small cup of this bucket of water. After taking it back and diluting it, drink a few sips when you have nothing to do. After a few days, I imagine everyone's health will be much better. Hearing Li Hao's words, Long Sheng couldn't help but get a little excited. The miners in his mine all earn hard-earned money, and they all use their bodies to make money. Almost everyone has some problems. Li Hao's move was a great good thing. Did you hear that? Go home quickly and find a cup. Let everyone fill a cup. Long Sheng immediately spoke to the miners around him, and then made a phone call directly. Soon, a middle-aged man wearing a leather jacket and holding a walkie-talkie ran over. He was the on-site person in charge of the mine. The person in charge shouted into the intercom, and the miners in the mine were quickly summoned. As for what happened next, someone was responsible, so Li Hao stopped taking care of it. It is impossible for everyone to cure the disease, and this is the best way. The spiritual power in this spiritual stone has also been processed by Li Hao with the power of cultivation and melted into the water. It can be well absorbed by these people. At least there is no problem in strengthening the body and extending life. Next, father and daughter Li Hao and Long Sheng got into the car again and left the mine. In the car. Ding dong, congratulations to the host, you have completed the mission and will be rewarded with a Bugatti Veyron and a first-class luxury residential building in the Tangcheng city. Suddenly, another systematic voice sounded in Li Hao's mind. The reward has arrived. A Bugatti Veyron? And a Thomson first-class luxury residence. Are you sure it's one? Rather than a set. I'll go. Li Hao was so excited that he couldn't help but swear. Both the car and the house are the rewards of the system this time. So cool. A Bugatti Veyron costs 20 to 30 million anyway. Although I have a Lamborghini Poison, who would dislike having so many luxury cars? How cool it would be to drive that instead. And there is also a Thomson first-class luxury residence. If it's not a separate set, how much is it worth? You know, Thomson Yupin is one of the most famous mansions in Shanghai. There are only a few mansions in total, so he just gave one to himself. How many suites are there in one building? Li Hao knew that a house owned by Thomson could be sold for hundreds of millions. In other words, the system changed direction and cost itself billions or even tens of billions. Li Hao was extremely excited and happy, and thought secretly. It seems that I still have to find a chance to go to the Magic City. This first-grade house of Thomson is in the Magic City. I have to at least collect the reward. Li Hao, why don't you stay for 2 days? I'll let Fair take you to have fun in Arzishan Mountain. There are many scenic spots in Arzishan Mountain. Longsheng said to Li Hao again, hoping that Li Hao would play for 2 more days and let Fair accompany her so that they could deepen their relationship, and maybe they could hook up. Uncle Long, let's do it next time. This time I came here because I skipped class. Besides, there are still some things to deal with. Li Hao said again and refused directly. He had not gone to class for many days. Fortunately, Ye Xiun worked in the school and interceded for Li Hao to ask for leave. Otherwise, Li Hao would have been expelled. Okay. Let's take you to the airport directly. Have you bought your ticket? Longsheng asked Li Hao again. Ding ding ding. But at this moment, Li Hao's cell phone suddenly rang again. Hello. Hello, is this Mr. Li Hao? I am Yang Mao, the captain of your private jet. All procedures for your jet have been completed and it is currently at Zishan Airport. Please sign for it. A man's voice sounded on the phone, very respectful. Li Hao couldn't help being shocked when he heard what the other party said. Is the private jet coming? Are you at Zishan Airport? Even the captain is equipped. It only took half a day, and the system was very efficient. Okay. Li Hao said in a deep voice, hung up the phone, and then said to Longsheng with a smile. I haven't bought the ticket yet, but no need. Now that you have a private jet, why should you buy a ticket? You can just board the plane and fly wherever you want. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 156. I haven't bought the plane ticket yet, but no need. Longsheng and Longfei had doubts on their faces when they heard Li Hao's words. Do you want to drive back? Longfei couldn't help asking from the side. Li Hao flew back without buying a ticket? What kind of operation is this? Are you planning to drive back? Li Hao shook his head and said lightly. Let's go to the airport. At this time, the two of them were even more confused. Did anyone else buy it for them? But neither of them asked. So, Longsheng's special car took the 3 people and headed to Zishan Airport again. In the car, Li Hao took out another spiritual stone and handed it to Longsheng. Take this spiritual stone. I have processed the spiritual power inside. You can take it back and grind it into powder. Dilute it directly with water. Take a few sips when you are fine. I believe your body will undergo some different changes. Li Hao said directly to the two of them that it was within Li Hao's power to help Longsheng give him such a piece of earth's spiritual veins. Especially Uncle Long, you should have good results in a few days. Hearing Li Hao's words, Longsheng's eyes suddenly lit up with joy. He is an innate warrior who cannot sense the existence of spiritual power, nor can he directly absorb spiritual power, so the spiritual stone mine was basically useless to him before, but it would be different if Li Hao had dealt with it. If it can be absorbed, even if it cannot break through the innate and become a true monk, it will not be too far behind. Haha. Thank you. Longshenda smiled and directly put away the spiritual stone. Soon, a few people arrived at Zishan Airport again. No need, Uncle Long, just send it here. Li Hao said to the 2 people again. Haha, I'll wait here and let Fei take you in. She's fine anyway. Longsheng said with a smile again and looked at Longfei beside him. Longfei's pretty face was slightly blushing, but she still nodded. She knew her father did this on purpose. Ever since, Longfei sent Li Hao to the airport again. Did anyone else buy the tickets for you? Longfei couldn't help but ask Li Hao. Li Hao shook his head and said. No. Ah. Hearing Li Hao's words, Longfei couldn't help being stunned again and looked at Li Hao in surprise. Then let me buy the tickets for you, right? Longfei asked Li Hao again. No. Li Hao still refused. A smile appeared on his face, and he said lightly. I have a plane. Longfei, didn't you say there are no air tickets? Why is there a plane again? Li Fei didn't understand what Li Hao meant and didn't say anything else. But at this moment, she saw Li Hao take out his mobile phone and make a call. Hello. Mr. Li, have you arrived at the airport? You can just come in directly. I will wait for you at gate 8. On the phone, the voice of a middle-aged man rang. It was the captain of Li Hao's private jet. Li Hao hung up the phone directly and headed for the location mentioned by the captain of the private jet. Soon, Li Hao went in directly, and Longfei followed Li Hao and walked directly in from the VIP channel, preparing to send Li Hao to the boarding gate. Hey, Longfei, long time no see. But at this moment, a man's voice came from next to him. Li Hao and Longfei immediately turned their heads and saw a young man in his 20s looking at Longfei with excitement. This man was quite tall, even taller than Li Hao. He was about 1.9 meters tall. His appearance was also very clean. Although he was not as good as Li Hao, he was about 7 or 8 points taller than Li Hao. He is relatively good looking, and the clothes this man wears are all famous brands, and he looks good looking. Moreover, beside this young man, there were two middle-aged people pushing a cart of luggage. They were obviously going somewhere by plane. Who are you? Longfei looked at this man and couldn't help but ask. She thought this man looked familiar and she should have seen him before, but she forgot his name. Ah! Longfei, don't you recognize me? I'm Hanzija, your high school classmate. I confessed my love to you, don't you remember? The young man immediately said to Longfei, with a sigh in his voice, but there was something strange in his eyes when he looked at Longfei. He was so lucky today. He didn't expect to meet Longfei here. After not seeing each other for a few years, Longfei turned out to be even more beautiful and charming. She needs a good figure and good looks. The most important thing is, this Longfei is a real bifume. He has a mine at home. If he can get it, he will be prosperous. You must know that in high school, he and Longfei were the school beauties. How many people pursued her but failed, including himself. He confessed to Longfei countless times, but was always rejected. At that time, Longfei said she didn't want to fall in love. But unexpectedly, we met at the airport today. What a fate. He finally had the opportunity to take advantage of it. I remembered. Long time no see. When Longfei heard what the other party said, she suddenly remembered that when she was in high school, there seemed to be such a person in her class. It seemed that he confessed to her many times, but she was not interested in him at all. She even disliked this guy before. She actually met him here. Longfei was also stunned and responded a little embarrassedly. Huh? Is this your boyfriend? At this time, Hanzija noticed the young man next to Longfei. His eyes suddenly condensed, and he asked immediately. Longfei was stunned again, but thought that this guy was annoying and he should stop bothering her, so Longfei had an idea. That's right. He is my boyfriend. Longfei actually nodded and said, with a bright and moving smile on her face, and she stretched out her jade hand to hold Li Hao's arm. Li Hao was also a little stunned by Longfei's move. Feeling the softness on his arm, he looked at Longfei with a confused face. Longfei's pretty face blushed a little, and she blinked at him again. Li Hao naturally understood the meaning of Longfei's eyes. He was regarded as a shield boyfriend again. When the young man in front of him heard Longfei's words, his face suddenly changed, and his eyes were filled with coldness when he looked at Li Hao. Oh? Boyfriend? Hanzija looked at Li Hao again. I don't know where you are doing. What does your family do? Hanzija asked Li Hao with a curious look on his face, but anyone with a discerning eye could see that this guy had some bad intentions. When Longfei heard what Hanzija said, her face sank slightly. Li Hao looked at this guy indifferently and did not reply. Only to hear this guy actually asked again. You should know the situation of Miss Longfei's family, right? Hanzija, what do you mean? Longfei's face suddenly condensed, and she said immediately. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 157. Longfei, don't be angry, I'm just asking. As an old classmate, I'm concerned about you. Don't be fooled by sweet words. Maybe he's here for your family's money. Hanzija said again, and then looked at Li Hao again. Brother. I'm not talking about you, nor targeting you. As Fei's high school classmate, I have the obligation to find out more for Fei's happiness, don't mind it. Li Hao looked at this guy indifferently, but he really didn't care at all. This guy was like a fool, looking for a sense of existence. There was no need for Li Hao to care about this kind of character who was killed by a slap. No need. Hanzija, you don't have to worry about my affairs. Longfei's face darkened when she heard Hanzija's words, and she said coldly. Hey, Fei, don't be like this. You know, I like you, I have liked you since high school. For so many years, even if I am in the United States, I have never changed. Hanzija said again hurriedly, even in front of Longfei's boyfriend, he confessed without hesitation. As the saying goes, there is no corner that cannot be dug, only a hoe that does not work hard. Fei, this time I came back from the United States, I am ready to take over my family's company. Since God let me meet you here, I will not give up Fei, break up with him. Only I am worthy of you. Hanzija kept talking. Hanzija. Let's not talk about the fact that I already have a boyfriend. Even if I don't, I can't be with you. Just give up on this idea. When Longfei heard what Hanzija said, her pretty face had a hint of anger, and she said to Hanzija loudly again. Even many passengers who were about to board the plane were attracted by this scene. They all looked at the few people, with a strange look in their eyes, and watched the excitement. Li Hao, let's go. After saying this, Longfei pulled Li Hao and prepared to leave directly. Hanzija saw this scene, his face became extremely ugly, and he said something to the person next to him, and chased after him. Coincidentally, his boarding gate was also in this direction. Let's go, we're going this way. Soon, Hanzija chased after him again. Fei, wait a minute. Fei, don't be angry. Longfei heard what Hanzija said behind her, but she didn't even turn her head back, and was too lazy to pay attention to this guy. Seeing that Longfei was unmoved, Hanzija immediately aimed at Li Hao again. Brother, if you are a man, you will hide behind a woman. Hanzija said coldly to Li Hao again. Hearing this, Li Hao finally couldn't help it. Turning his head, he looked at Hanzija and said with a smile. Man? You are quite manly. You are pale and thin, your breath is short, your steps are weak, your eyelids are swollen, and you are in low spirits. You must have had sex with many foreign girls in the United States, right? 3 minutes or 2 minutes. I am afraid you are already a little impotent. I suggest you go to a better male doctor. Li Hao immediately said to Hanzija. Li Hao, who has God-level medical skills and is also a monk, can naturally see the physical condition of this guy at a glance. This guy must have been overindulged and has damaged the foundation of his body. Hearing Li Hao's words, Hanzija's face suddenly became extremely ugly, and his heart suddenly jumped. What the hell? How did he know that you were looking for foreign chicks in the United States? The most important thing is that he really feels a little overwhelmed now. Many times it is really just 2 or 3 minutes, and this guy actually said it right. Hanzija was shocked, but he would definitely not admit it in front of Longfear. What nonsense are you talking about? Fear, don't listen to his nonsense. I haven't even touched a woman in the United States. Hanzija quickly said to Longfear again. Disgusting. Longfear said lightly, but she didn't even want to look at this guy. However, Hanzija was persistent and actually followed the two of them and chattered, and even threatened Li Hao. Boy, I advise you to leave Fear. Is Fear worthy of you? Are you here to catch a flight too? Where are you going? Did you see it? A first-class ticket. You probably haven't even taken one before. Oh, by the way, you probably can't afford it, right? Could it be that Fear bought your ticket for you? At a certain moment, Hanzija actually took out his ticket again and said to Li Hao sarcastically, it was a first-class ticket. In his opinion, Longfear, this boyfriend, was dressed ordinary and didn't bring any luggage. His family probably didn't have any background. Now Longfear should be giving this guy a gift. Could it be that Longfear bought the ticket for him? Speaking of the ticket issue, Longfear's face froze again. By the way, it seems that Li Hao hasn't bought a ticket or exchanged his boarding pass until now. Soon, Hanzija arrived at the boarding gate. There were already many people queuing at this boarding gate, preparing to register. However, Hanzija went directly to a passage next to him. VIP passage. Then, Hanzija took out his boarding pass and checked in smoothly, preparing to go in with a superior look. However, he did not go in directly, but turned around and looked at Li Hao, saying proudly, "See? This is the first-class treatment. It's a bit pretentious." Li Hao wanted to laugh when he saw this scene. The next moment, Li Hao said to Longfear, "Okay, just send it here. I'm going to board the plane." After that, Li Hao went to a boarding gate next to him. There was no one at this boarding gate. However, there were people waiting at the boarding gate. They were two extremely beautiful stewardesses, and next to the stewardesses, there was a man in a captain's uniform waiting respectfully. Seeing Li Hao approaching, the captain and the two stewardesses actually saluted Li Hao. "Hello, Mr. Li, I am your private captain. Your plane is ready and can take off at any time." "Hello, Mr. Li, I am your private stewardess Xiao, I am happy to serve you." "Hello, Mr. Li, I am your private stewardess Yao Xiang, I am happy to serve you." The voices of the three were not loud, but they were clearly heard by everyone around. Private captain? Private stewardess? What kind of treatment is this? This is a private plane. Look, the sign says it's a private plane. Oh my god, this guy is actually on a private plane. Is this plane his? What is his identity? When the people around saw this scene, they also noticed the display screen at the boarding gate. When it showed not the flight number but a private plane, they immediately cried out in surprise. Longfear also saw this scene, and she was in disbelief and trembling in her heart, and her beautiful eyes were full of surprise. No wonder this guy didn't even buy a ticket, it turned out to be a private plane. His. Longfear couldn't help but take a breath. Li Hao actually has a private plane, which even her father doesn't have. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 158. Private plane? How is this possible? Hanzija was extremely shocked when he saw this scene. How is this possible? How could the other party be sitting in a private plane? This is not a helicopter? Could this private plane belong to him? Or his family? Thinking that he had just shown off to the other party that he was in first class, Hanzija felt his face burning. Pa pa pa. Slapped in the face. Hanzija's face was slapped away. The expressions of those around him were all mocking. Hanzija had a dark face and boarded the plane without looking back. I'm leaving first, see you next time. Bye. Beside him, Li Hao looked at Long Fei who was still in shock, and immediately waved and said, bye. Long Fei came back to her senses, waved to Li Hao, and watched Li Hao go in. The shock in her heart had reached the extreme. The next moment, Long Fei smiled like a flower, looked at Li Hao's back, and made a decision in her heart. Long Fei left, and she was ready to go out after sending Li Hao to the plane. When she told Long Sheng that Li Hao had a private plane, Long Sheng was shocked again. But thinking back, this guy is a major shareholder of Shanshui Group, and his net worth is probably much higher than him, the richest man in Zishan. It is normal for him to be able to afford a private plane. After Li Hao boarded his private plane, he was also shocked by the luxurious interior of the plane. Luxurious. Extremely luxurious. The huge space is filled with several luxurious leather sofas, leisure massage chairs and TVs, just like a living room with extremely luxurious decorations. In the back, there is a conference room and a dining room. In addition, there is a bedroom. In the middle of the bedroom, there is a huge bed, which can accommodate 4 or 5 people. There is also a separate bathroom. You know, this is on an airplane. Li Hao took a quick look and was shocked by the luxurious layout and decoration inside the plane. Soon, Li Hao sat directly on the sofa. Comfortable. Next to him, 2 private stewardesses were already serving Li Hao. "Boss, what would you like to drink?" "Boss, let me give you a massage." "Boss." The 2 stewardesses had already called the boss, one poured water, and one gave Li Hao a massage. "It's so comfortable. This is the life that rich people should enjoy." Li Hao murmured. The first-class cabin was no longer fragrant, and he turned around and asked Qin Yaking, Yeshiun and others to come sit together. Soon, the plane took off. The flight was very stable all the way, and only an hour later, it arrived at Jiangbei Airport again. Li Hao walked out of the airport directly, and then drove his Lamborghini Veneno parked in the parking lot and prepared to return to Jiangbei No. 1 courtyard. As for this plane, it can be parked at this Jiangbei Airport. Ace pilots are on standby at any time. As long as Li Hao wants to go, the plane will take off at any time. In the next few days, Li Hao continued to go back to school. Huzi, I haven't seen you for many days. What are you doing all this time? I thought you were expelled. Look at you, how long have you not slept on your bed? It's all moldy. When Li Hao returned to the school dormitory, the brothers in the dormitory were also very surprised. They said to Li Hao that if Wu Chao hadn't asked about it when he met Yeshiun, they almost thought that Li Hao was expelled from the school. Well, it's been quite busy during this period. Li Hao said weakly, without saying anything specific. Huzi has made a lot of money, unlike you. All you know is playing games and picking up girls all day long. Xiaoji was also in the dormitory for a rare time, not going out to get a room, and said jokingly on the side. It's true that I play games. I really didn't pick up any girls. You have so many girls, you should have a lot of friends, introduce some resources to me. Yes, brother G. Ask those girls to introduce 2 friends to me. Speaking of picking up girls, Wu Chao and Chen Tao are very depressed. They want to pick up girls, but they always fail. However, Xiaoji has girls every day, and they are often different. One day, Xiaoji said that he hummed 3 different girls in one day, and his body was almost exhausted. It's pretty awesome. Wu Chao and Chen Tao are envious. He checked into a room with girls every day. And they can only play games in the dormitory. If they can't do it, they open the D drive of Chen Tao's computer and watch 2 Japanese blockbusters to solve the problem. Why don't you find Huzi? Huzi's girls are all goddesses. How can the goddess friends be bad? Xiaoji said to the 2 speechlessly. No, that's not suitable for us. Let's not talk about whether the goddess's friends will like us. Even if they do, they may not be able to hold on. Yeah, brother Chow and I don't have high requirements. Just look decent and have a good figure. Wu Chao and Chen Tao are very self-aware. Let's not talk about their average looks, and they don't have much money. It's very expensive to play with women, especially beautiful women. Hearing what the two said, Xiaoji's face was dark. Okay, wait for me to make a call. The next moment, Xiaoji walked to the balcony of the dormitory with his mobile phone. It can be heard that Xiaoji is talking on the phone with a woman. A few minutes later, Xiaoji walked in again. Done. Tonight, let's have dinner with some girls. After dinner, we will sing together. Whether you can get it or not depends on your own performance. As soon as Xiaoji came in, he said to several people. After hearing Xiaoji's words, Wu Chao and Chen Tao suddenly opened their eyes wide and said in disbelief. Damn it, brother Ji, are you having dinner and singing with a girl at night? Is this true? You're making a date now? Li Hao next to him also had a look of surprise on his face. Of course it's true. In one sentence, whether you want to go or not, I can book a table in advance. Xiaoji said again. Awesome class. Brother Ji is awesome. Go, you must go. Brother Ji, are you the girl from our school? Wu Chao and Chen Tao were immediately excited, and couldn't help asking curiously. No. The girl from Jiangbei Conservatory of Music, the people in my daughter's dormitory, told her that we would have dinner together in the evening and have a dormitory party. Xiaoji said calmly. Girls from the Conservatory of Music. Let me go, they are all top beauties. They are beautiful and have sweet voices. Brother Ji, you are so awesome. You are my idol. Yes, Brother Ji. You are so awesome. I like you. Come and kiss me. Mua. The two of them were so excited, they were both awesome and idols, and they even kissed Xiaoji. Get away. I really don't like men. Xiaoji quickly ducked away. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip. Report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 159. As we all know, Jiangbei Conservatory of Music is an art college, and most of it is female. These girls not only look good, but also have nice voices. After all, many of them rely on their mouths to make a living. When Wu Chao and Chen Tao heard that Xiaoji was dating a girl from the Conservatory of Music, they couldn't contain their joy and were very excited. Mouse, you can come too. At this time, Xiaoji looked at Li Hao again and said to Li Hao. It was rare that all four of us were in the dormitory, and it had been a long time since we had a meal together. You go pick up girls, what am I going to do? Li Hao was startled, then said with a smile, there are already so many goddesses around him, but Li Hao has not won any of them yet. Li Hao has no interest in other women. No matter how beautiful she is, can she compare to Qin Yaking and Ye Xiun? Qin Yaking can already be regarded as the beauty ceiling among girls. Li Hao actually doesn't have much interest in having dinner and singing with the girls from the music school. Mouse, let's go together. That's right, Mouse, there are four of us in the dormitory. It would be boring if you didn't go. It's rare for the big guys to get together. You go pick up girls too. Wu Chao and others said to Li Hao again. What if I go and the girl likes me? Li Hao said with a smile. Wu Chao. Chen Tao, It's really possible. Why don't you leave the mouse? Ha ha ha, you're just kidding, how can a girl compare to our brothers? Go, you have to go. You are the richest guy, you treat me. A few words from you and me, but they still edited Li Hao. He said yes, no one of the brothers should be missing. The most important thing is to let Li Hao give the money. Li Hao laughed and did not refuse again. It was rare for the brothers to have a meal together. After a few classes, Wu Chao and others went back to the dormitory to wash their hair, change clothes, and then drove to the dining area. Li Hao drove his own Lamborghini Poison and was carrying Chen Tao. Xiaoji drove his own car and took Wu Chao for a ride. Because Li Hao's supercar can only seat 2 people, Wu Chao wanted to sit in it because it was very cool, but he had no choice but to lose to Chen Tao in rock, paper, scissors. The place Xiaoji booked to eat was in the city center, near Shanghulai. Soon, Li Hao and Xiaoji drove to the place where they were eating. Xiaolonjian Hot Pot. A very famous hot pot brand in Jiangbei, this is the Shanggu branch. When Li Hao parked the Lamborghini and got out of the car, the people around him gave him strange looks. Wow, what a handsome car. This is Lamborghini Poison. A car worth tens of millions. Another rich second generation came out to blow up the streets. This is a prosperous area in the city center. There are many tourists. People come and go in an endless stream. Luxury cars can be seen everywhere on the street. However, Li Hao's Lamborghini single Poison is still very eye-catching, and it immediately caused quite a stir. Sensation. When the 4 of them arrived at this hot pot restaurant, the girls from the music school that Xiaoji had made an appointment with had not yet arrived. Why haven't you come yet? Don't you know how to swim? After several minutes of waiting, but still no one came, Wu Chao immediately asked Xiaoji. Don't worry, we're already on the way. There are 6 of them in their dormitory. In addition to my woman, there is one who has a boyfriend, and there are 4 others. Whether you can get one depends on you. Xiaoji said in a deep voice again. He had been chatting with his daughter and knew that they were already on their way here. Moreover, Xiaoji already knew the situation of several of the other parties' singles very clearly. Then we have to do it. I'll have to drink some wine later and get them drunk, maybe they'll agree. Wu Chao said again, showing a lewd smile. Xiaoji booked a private room, but because there were a lot of people, he shared 2 tables and ordered 2 pots. A few people were quite ready and were waiting for the arrival of these girls. At the same time, 2 taxis were speeding towards here. In one of the taxis. Zia, why do you have to call me? I already told you, I don't want to participate in any dormitory party. I don't want to have a boyfriend yet. There are 3 women sitting in this taxi. One of them is relatively ordinary, but the other one looks much taller in temperament and appearance, especially the one speaking at the moment. She has blonde hair, a tall figure, and a bulging lordosis. She has a curvy back, wearing a short skirt, and a pair of long legs that are round and straight. If she has a perfect appearance of 100%, this woman is definitely above 90%. Yan Ran, I know you don't like ordinary men. But what if we meet each other? My boyfriend asked me to make an appointment with everyone in the dormitory. If you don't go, I can't explain it. I don't want to be with you. He broke up. Next to him, another girl said again. She was one of Xiaoji's women, and of course she thought she was the only one for him. Her name is Wu Ziyawai, and she called out all the girls in the dormitory today. Everyone else was very happy, except for the best friend next to me who wasn't too interested. Alas, I don't know what to say to you. You are too deep in it. Men should be tested more. It would be bad if they meet a scumbag. And your Xiaoji, I saw the photo, and he looks bad. Don't be fooled by him. Seeing Wu Ziyawai like this, the woman next to her couldn't help but say. Don't worry, Yan Ran, Xiaoji is very good. I like his bad look. Wu Ziyawai said with a smile. Although Xiaoji is not particularly handsome, and even looks bad, Wu Ziyawai is very fascinated by him. He is very good at coaxing people and very humorous. She is always very happy to be with him. The woman next to her was speechless and didn't say anything more. After a while, 2 taxis stopped in front of Xiaolonjian Hot Pot restaurant. Wow, what a cool car. Is this a Lamborghini? Is this car worth tens of millions? I really want to go in and take a ride. Xiaowai, this car is not your boyfriend's car, right? Didn't you say your boyfriend is quite rich? It shouldn't be, his car is a BMW. When the girls' eyes fell on this Lamborghini Venezia, they were also attracted. For young women like them, this kind of super sports car is very lethal. Honey, I'm here. Wu Xiaowai immediately sent a WeChat message to Xiaoji. Okay, baby, I'll be out right away. The next moment, the girls saw a young man wearing a famous brand come out. It was Xiaoji. Brother Ji. Seeing Xiaoji, Wu Xiaowai immediately shouted enthusiastically, but in front of her roommates and besties, she was still more conservative. Then, she introduced him to the girls next to her. This is my boyfriend Xiaoji, Xiaoji, they are all my roommates. After saying that, Wu Xiaowai naturally took Xiaoji's hand. Xiaoji glanced at these women, and his eyes were also fixed. Xiaowai's roommates were of very good quality, especially the one standing next to her, who was even prettier than Xiaoji's other women. Let's go in together, my roommates are already here. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 160. I have to say that the girls at the Conservatory of Music are of very high quality. Wu Xiaowai's roommates are all of good quality. She has a figure, looks, and knows how to dress up, and she looks very young and beautiful. When Wu Xiaowai pulled Xiaoji and then led several roommates in the dormitory into the private room. In the private room, Wu Chao and Chen Tao's eyes lit up instantly, emitting a wolf-like itch. It's coming. They are all beauties, hold on, hold on. Wu Chao and Chen Tao could no longer contain their excitement, and they whispered. The next moment, several women walked in directly. Everyone, beauties, sit wherever you like. Xiaoji said directly to the women. Here, let me introduce you. They are all my brothers, Li Hao, Wu Chao, and Chen Tao. The eyes of several women fell on Li Hao and the other 2 people sitting on the table, looking at them. Li Hao and the other 3 also looked at these women. At the same time, Xiaoji's girlfriend Wu Xiaowai introduced her directly to the girls. Hello. I'm Wu Xiaowai, Xiaoji must have said it. They are also my roommates, this is Fen Yuling, Zhang Tingting, Lin Yanran, Zhang Chunxiao, Lu Yu. Just as Wu Xiaowai was introducing the women, Li Hao's eyes fell on one of them, and he suddenly froze. It was this woman named Lin Yanran. It's quite a coincidence. At this moment, the woman named Lin Yanran also cast her beautiful eyes on Li Hao, and her eyebrows wrinkled slightly. She seemed to have seen this young man somewhere. Li Hao. When Lin Yanran heard the other person's roommate introduce his name, Lin Yanran suddenly remembered what her grandfather had said. Yanran, if it wasn't for that young man named Li Hao who saved my life. That's a good boy. He saved Grandpa without seeking repayment, but it's a pity that your parents made him angry and left me. I'm really angry to death. Yanran, Grandpa originally wanted to introduce him to you. If you see it, you have to thank me for Grandpa. Otherwise, Grandpa will feel guilty. His name is Li Hao, remember it? Lin Yanran remembered. The young man who saved his grandfather's life seemed to be named Li Hao. Moreover, that day, the day his grandfather had a heart attack, she rushed to her grandfather's ward in a hurry and accidentally bumped into this guy at the entrance of the hospital. The guy in front of me is also called Li Hao? How could such a coincidence happen? Could it be that the young man who saved Grandpa was the guy in front of him? Lin Yanran felt a sense of disbelief in her heart. Why are you here? Lin Yanran opened her eyes and said to Li Hao, extremely surprised. What a coincidence. Li Hao also smiled and said lightly, it seems that this woman recognized him. Your name is Li Hao? Lin Yanran asked Li Hao again. Any questions? Li Hao asked rhetorically. Is it you who saved my grandfather? Lin Yanran asked again. Your grandfather? Li Hao frowned slightly. Could it be that the old man who had a heart attack was the grandfather of the woman in front of him? By the way, this woman is also pretty good. Damn, what a coincidence. Li Hao couldn't help but sighed again. He just recognized the woman in front of him as the woman who knocked him into the car, but he did not expect that this woman was actually the granddaughter of the old man he saved. No wonder this woman ran so fast in the hospital. Everything is clear. The old man who had a sudden heart attack. Is that your grandfather? Li Hao asked calmly. Yeah. Grandpa was in an accident. I ran too fast and accidentally bumped into you. I'm sorry. Lin Yanran nodded, remembering that she bumped into the other person, which seemed very impolite. Thinking about it now, Lin Yanran also felt a little embarrassed and a little apologetic on her face. For a moment, Lin Yanran's pretty face turned red. After hearing what the woman said, Li Hao said, as expected. What the hell, rat, what's going on? Damn, Mouse, do you know him again? Mouse, can you meet a beautiful woman you know? When Li Hao and Lin Yanran were communicating with no one else, Xiaoji, Wu Chao and Chen Tao next to them also opened their eyes wide and were extremely shocked. A series of surprised sounds came from their mouths, and they couldn't bear it. It was full of foul language. Mouse, what kind of luck is this? Whenever I'm called out to eat hot pot, I'll bump into someone I know, and he's actually the prettiest among the girls across from me. Moreover, listening to what the two exchanged just now, it seems that Li Hao saved the other party's grandfather? Is this someone else's benefactor? Then if you hook up with the other party again, maybe the other party will directly agree to marry you. Damn it, why didn't such a good thing happen to me? Yanran, what's going on? Know him? Beside Lin Yanran, Wu Zaiwai and others also looked at Lin Yanran in confusion. Well, didn't my grandfather have a heart attack last time? As I told you, a young man named Li Hao saved him. Now I'm sure it was him. Lin Yanran said directly to the women. The faces of the several women also showed a look of surprise. What a coincidence. Moreover, this Yanran's face turned red, which was a bit abnormal. What a fate. What a fate. Wu Zaiwai said from the side again. Humph. Just now, some people didn't want to come. Immediately, Wu Zaiwai snorted again and said with interest. Are you going to die? Hearing Wu Zaiwai's words, Lin Yanran stared directly at Wu Zaiwai and gave her a killing look. Sit down, sit down. Yanran and Li Hao are so destined, you should sit next to Li Hao. Wu Zaiwai didn't pay attention at all, and said directly, and then pulled Lin Yanran to sit down next to Li Hao, making Lin Yanran's pretty face even more rosy. Soon, the other women also sat down one after another. Then, he started eating directly. The atmosphere was very lively, but except for Wu Zaiwai and Xiaoji who sat next to each other and quietly touched up and down from time to time, the others didn't let go much. During this period, Xiaoji also called for a box of beer. But the girls only drank a small cup, but it had no effect, and there was no chance at the dinner table. Shall we go sing later? I've already booked the KTV private room. Xiaoji said to everyone again. Okay. Okay, it's been a long time since I went out to sing. The girls did not refuse, and after finishing their meal, they prepared to go to Dynasty KTV.